Hello and welcome to another video with me, Ben Pearson. That's right, I'm back in the studio and I'm making this video about the Police Interceptor's Golf GTI PROM seizure. I put this video on TikTok and it got a lot of views. So let's get into the video. Keep safe. I put this video on TikTok and I think it had over 1 million views. It's about me seizing a Golf GTI from a young lad in Bradford who is going to prom. And then I started looking at the comments. Most of the comments were proactive and very, very good. And then you also had the idiots that want to comment. And it had over 700 comments, and some of the comments were, "What are you doing that for? It's only no insurance, let him off." There's nothing wrong with speeding off at the traffic lights. You can go as fast as you want, up to the speed limit. There's nothing wrong with his driving. There you go, that's the mentality of some drivers around Bradford. And have you got nothing better to do? So let's just get into this straight away. So we are on patrol and we are on Valley Road, Stroke Canal Road, at the junction of bottom of Barker End Road. I'm going to start running the video in the bottom as well, and I might add little clippets for you to understand what's going on. As we sat in traffic, we see a white Golf GTI in front of us, and it sets off from the traffic lights, and it goes bop, 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 bop. And ironically, I do that on the video as well. Let's quash all these rumours. Can you set off from the traffic lights fast? Well, in theory, you probably can do. Is there anything wrong with going up to the speed limit? No, there's nothing wrong with the speed limit. How was driving? Well, you've got to look at this. So you've got to look at the time, the place, so it's the location, the time and the scenario. Driving at 40 mile an hour in a 40 mile an hour limit, nothing wrong with it, but it's how you drive at 40 miles an hour. So accelerating as hard as you can from the traffic lights at 9 o'clock at night when it's extremely busy on a summer's night, drawing attention to yourself, that's what he did. It drew attention. If he hadn't set off like how he did at the traffic lights, we wouldn't have seen him. Therefore, he'd have got off scot-free, he'd have gone on his day and he'd been driving around in Golf GTI. You are trained to look what's going on around you, looking at the number plates of other cars, you're looking at the driver of those vehicles and you're listening to what's going on. You've also got the radio bleeping and it's giving you jobs out. When that radio stops bleeping, it goes silent in the car and noise is amplified. This lad sets off from the traffic lights and his exhaust roars. You can hear it on the video. And he sets off quick. So instantly as a traffic cop, well, why is he wanting to drive fast? Has he seen us? Is he making off? We don't know because we're still sat in traffic. We can't estimate his speed because he's already going out of view. So we've got to set off and go like beans to try and catch him. At that point, we get behind said driver and we think said driver had noticed then there's a Mark 3 Series traffic car behind him. I noticed that. Most people do notice that. And even as a next traffic cop, when a marked traffic car gets behind me, I still have a little bit of a panic and butterflies in my tummy. Are they watching me? Do they know what's going on? Have I done something wrong? Is my vehicle showing us no insurance? Is there something dropping off my vehicle? And I start getting a bit nervous about what goes on. This driver, due to his lack of experience, isn't even looking in the mirrors, isn't even checking around the surroundings. Now, these are the drivers that are most likely now to have a collision. They're young, they're inexperienced, and they're not paying attention to what's going on around them. So they don't know where other vehicles are, they don't know where members of the public are, they don't know what's going on in the road in front. And again, said driver pulls from the junction with the marked traffic car behind him and puts the foot down. Bop, 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 bop. Which leads us to think, right, this driver is not aware of us. Again, their driving is still deplorable because they're accelerating hard from junctions. You don't need to do that. It's putting stress on your tyres, stress on your gearbox. You're burning loads of fuel. Why do you need to do it? Now, I've just said that and I'm going to have loads of comments going, well, I can do. Yeah, you can do. You could technically probably have a shit in park, but you wouldn't do. It's just not right. You are drawing attention to yourself in said vehicle. Now, if people want to set off from the traffic lights fast, they can do that, but you're still driving without due care and attention because your brain isn't activated enough to know what's going on in front of you. You're in a city centre. It's a maximum speed limit is that. 40 is the maximum should go. It's not accelerate as hard as you can up to 40 miles an hour and drive around at that speed if it's not permittable to do so. If it's busy with traffic, if it's members of the public, if it's rain, if it's snowy, is it misty. So then the driver continues to drive like this through the centre of Bradford. We run it through, comes back to different insurance. Obviously can't tell you that due to GDPR, PDGPR, data protection. It's only when the driver's doing a 3-point turn, we've been behind him nearly 1.5 miles, nearly 2 miles, and it's only when he's doing a 3-point turn that he's seen us. So is his driving credible at that moment in time? If you were on your driving test, would you have passed? Well, you wouldn't, would you? You'd have fell below what's classed as a reasonable standard of driving. The driver instructor has said, why haven't you seen this in your mirror? Why haven't you seen that? Why are you accelerating like that? Why are you heavily braking? You'd have failed your test. So is his driving below a reasonable standard of driving at that moment in time? Well, yes, it is. So technically, if it's below a reasonable standard of driving, you're classed as driving without due care and attention because you're not paying attention. So we get the driver then out of the Golf GTI and put him in the back of our car. And because people want to say I'm playing up for camera, that's why I go, bop, 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 bop. But I do it because some people need to be spoke to on a level that they understand. This lad is young, he's inexperienced, and he's on his way to prom. If it were an old man that got out of the car, he'd be spoken to differently. If it were a young woman that got out of the car, they'd be spoken to differently. Everyone is spoken on a level that I deem fit that they will understand. If a man gets out of the car effing and jeffing, he'll be effing and jeffed back to, because if that's the only language they will understand, that's how I will talk to them. Gentleman's put him back of our car, and again the comments are, he has got no idea, let him off. It's only insurance, it's not a big crime. What's wrong with having no insurance nowadays? How would he supposed to know he's got no insurance? Let me make this clear, people. If you drive on a road, it is your responsibility under the Road Traffic Act to know you have got a full, valid driving licence, the vehicle has got a full, valid MOT certificate, and you are fully insured for that vehicle. It is down to you as the driver to make sure all those documents are in order and correct, and the vehicle is in roadworthy condition. If you just go to the front of the vehicle, get in it, drive it away, and it's got a bald tyre, well, my mate lent me a car, not your mate's fault. It's your fault. You need to check the vehicle and make sure it's in a roadworthy condition. Has this gentleman done it? Well, chances are not. So he's been told that he's insured on this car via other means. He has paid someone a small amount of money and they've insured him. So he's then taken on his shoulders to believe he's insured. Has he got any hire documents? No, he hasn't. So he knows it's not a legitimate hire car and he's not hiring it through a legitimate company. Is he hiring it off his mate? So basically, in theory, his mate's giving him his car, take his car out, drive around on the streets, take your girlfriend out and you'll look great. He's then said, well, I thought I was insured. Would he be paying that? Absolutely not, no. He knows that, we know that, and you know that. That is why the car was seized from him. He's not a victim. It's not discrimination. It's not anything to do with race. We are stopping people in Bradford driving illegal cars. It is that simple. Can we please stop this cycle in Bradford of people driving with no insurance and get people to drive with insurance at all times? And also, if the young lads, please can you make sure they can drive sensibly in a car that they control and they are not going to wrap around a tree or a lamppost? And can you make sure everyone is going to be safe on the road? Please, 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 if you are going to get a vehicle, hire it correctly, hire it through the correct sources, get the correct hire documents and make sure you are insured. Last comment. Have you not got anything better to do with your time? Well, unfortunately, no, because the clue is in the name traffic cops. If you really think I can spell it out. But traffic cop means you are there on a road to protect members of the public on a road and cut down crime on a road. Most people that are criminals are going to use a vehicle to get from A to B. You stop major criminals on the road. And one of the things you do, you look out for how they drive. It is called traffic work because you uphold traffic law. You stop the cars that are jumping out in front of you because they're committing road traffic offences. One small road traffic offence will lead to something major. If you're in Bradford, drive by the letter of the law, have your vehicle insured, and you will not get stopped. So apart from that, thanks for coming. If you're going to drive a Golf GTI, please don't make it go bop, bop, and I'll see you next time. Bop.